Laughter sliced through the morning air at Camp Pendleton's firing range sharp, mocking, and merciless. 30 Marines in Force Recon uniforms stood in a loose formation, smirking as a woman placed a bright rose-colored Barrett .50 cal rifle on the steel table. "Is that a Hello Kitty toy?" Gunnery Sergeant Michael Rodriguez jeered, arms crossed over thick, tattooed biceps. The Marines erupted again, phones already lifted to record her humiliation. Corporal Madison Brooks' blonde hair tucked under. Her cover, the self-styled Marine Barbie with 50,000 Instagram followers, leaned into her live stream. "Family, you're about to watch Barbie Sniper embarrass herself in front of real Marines." The woman at the center of the ridicule didn't react. Emily Carter, 28, dressed in a faded gray t-shirt and worn fatigues, unpacked her gear with quiet precision. Her hands trembled at regular intervals, not from fear, but from nerve damage that only combat veterans would recognize. Taunts spread across the range like wildfire. Bets were tossed around. Phones kept streaming. In less than 20 minutes, every one of those laughs would die. The laughter rolled again, loud, heavy, and cruel. It was the kind that wounds before any bullet leaves a chamber. Emily Carter looked painfully ordinary standing there at 0700 on a Force Recon range, her brown hair catching the sun as she worked. The rose-painted Barrett only made the crowd howl louder. "Is that from your kid's toy box?" Rodriguez barked. "What's next, unicorn stickers?" 30 Marines doubled over laughing, recording every second. Brooks turned her camera toward Emily. "Okay, family. We've got some civilian who thinks she's a sniper. She brought her Barbie rifle to a Marine qualification. Let's see how fast this goes downhill." Emily stayed silent, methodically unloading equipment from the trunk of her beat-up 2008 Honda Civic. The car, dented and scratched, looked like it had survived a dozen storms. She moved slowly, carefully, adjusting straps and sorting tools. Her hands shook rhythmically 4.7 seconds, part not that anyone paid attention. Master Sergeant Jake Sullivan noticed. Afghanistan, 2012. A medic with the same tremor who saved his whole unit. Nerve damage, trauma, survival. His eyes narrowed something about. Emily's presence felt disturbingly familiar, but the teasing continued. Barbie Sniper's gonna livestream. Her own meltdown, Lance Corporal Tyler Webb shouted as he tossed bills into a growing pile. $20 says she drops it before she even fires. Emily pulled out specialized shooting glasses with flickering data overlays, a battered notebook filled with complex calculations, wind charts that looked more like advanced physics than ballistics. Brooks snorted. "Look at those shaky hands. She couldn't hit a barn from inside it." Rodriguez stepped forward. "Pack your gear and get off my range. This is for Marines, not influencers." Emily finally spoke, voice calm and level. "I'll need 15 minutes to set up." The laughter roared louder. 15 minutes? Brooks cackled. "Honey, you could have 15 hours and still miss past 100 meters. The betting pool ballooned. Odds climbed to 100 to 1. Rodriguez smirked. "I'd hit a target at 1,000 meters. You can stay. Miss, and you're done." Emily didn't look up as she adjusted her scope. 6,000 meters. The Marines lost at some, collapsing to their knees, laughing. "Lady, the world record is 3,500 meters, Rodriguez wheezed. "Set by Canadian Special Forces. Perfect weather. Custom ammo." "You're not just crazy, you're mathematically impossible." Phones streamed every second. Thousands watched live. Sullivan wasn't laughing. He watched Emily touch something under her shirt dog tags. Combat breathing followed, in for, hold for, out for. Controlled, trained, deadly calm. Then Colonel Patricia Hawkins arrived, her presence dropping the noise by half. Sullivan leaned toward her. "Colonel, she's using Phantom Protocol." Hawkins froze. "Impossible. Only 12 people on Earth know it." "Make it 13, Sullivan muttered. At the firing line, Emily settled into position with practiced ease. Rodriguez barked, 10 minutes, princess. 10 minutes until physics proves you're a joke." But the mockery was losing momentum. Something in her movement, too smooth, too intentional, unnerved them. Emily whispered 6 words. "Clear the backblast area." A few Marines stepped back instinctively before realizing what they were doing. Rodriguez forced a laugh, but Sullivan was already pulling people clear. Instinct screamed something big was coming. The countdown started. 10 seconds. Phones lowered. 5. Fog drifted, barely revealing steel plates. Thousands of meters away. 3. Emily's finger found the trigger. 2. Her tremor paused, perfectly timed. 1. The rifle thundered a deep, unnatural roar. Heckler! Recoil vanished as the rose-colored weapon absorbed the force. A shimmering vapor trail cut across the range. 7 seconds of breathless silence. Through spotting scopes, Marines witnessed the impossible. A perfect hole punched dead center at 6,000 meters. Then another plate behind it, then another. 5 slabs of steel, torn through like paper. Silence swallowed the range. Jaws hung open. Phones shook in stunned hands. Emily engaged the safety and lowered her rifle without looking at anyone. Rodriguez whispered, voice cracking, "That's not possible." The range fell into a suffocating stillness. Brooks lowered her phone, live stream exploding past 20,000 viewers. As Emily bent to pick up her brass casing, Sullivan caught sight of a tattoo peeking from under her shirt, one he recognized from classified briefings. His blood turned cold. "Colonel," he rasped, "she has the mark. Phantom 7. Hawkins went pale. Phantom 7 died in Kandahar 5 years ago. I read the report. Explain what we just saw, Sullivan said, eyes locked on Emily. Whispers rippled through the Marines. Disbelief? Fear? Then new sound? Thup, thup, thup. Not Marine. Helicopters. Lower. Harder. Aggressive. Unmarked. Ghost birds. Emily's expression changed. Recognition. Dread. Resolve. Inside the range building, she ordered sharply. The Marines hesitated. Who was she to give orders? Sullivan didn't. You heard her? Move. Captain Harrell echoed the command, and Force Recon scrambled inside. Grabbing what weapons they could, Rodriguez lingered, staring at Emily. Who are you? Really? For a moment, her guard dropped. Pain, exhaustion, buried truth. Someone who should have stayed dead, she said softly.
Oh.
Someone who kept a promise too big to hide.
Oh.
The helicopters thundered closer. Inside, the lights flicked to red. Power died with a snap. EMP strike, Derek Miller muttered. Local? They just fried every cum line. Emily opened what looked like a medical kit but, instead, revealed tools humming with strange energy. She assembled an experimental radio, the air crackling around it. Colonel Hawkins, she said. In 60 seconds, Black Ops operators will breach this building. No insignia, no authorization, no hesitation. Their mission is simply race everyone in this room to erase me. Shock spread through the Marines. Erase you? Webb stammered. Why? Emily met his eyes. Phantom Team 7, betrayed by our CIA handler, Marcus Bishop, sold out. I'm the only one who lived. Kins went white. Bishop disappeared 5 years ago. He cashed out. Emily cut in. And now his masters are here. The first explosion shattered the northern door. Breach, Harrell shouted. Black dash-clad operators stormed through smoke, silent and lethal, suppressors hissing as muzzle flashes lit the red haze. Shadow division. The room erupted in chaos as Marines fought back outgunned, but not outmatched in resolve. And the real battle had just begun. Emily Carter moved through the smoke and chaos like a storm incarnate. Her rose-colored Barrett rifle was reassembled in seconds, the tremor in her hands vanishing with every pull of the trigger. That rhythm, the legacy of combat nerve damage, became a deadly metronome. 4. 7 seconds between flawless shots. Her rounds were far from ordinary. Red-tipped, experimental, and glowing faintly beneath the emergency lights, they struck with lethal precision. The first round slammed into an operator, piercing armor and frying the night vision of everyone near him. The second intercepted a flashbang midair, detonating it harmlessly above the room. Rodriguez blinked. His earlier mockery mocking the Barbie Sniper was now a bitter memory. Emily was slicing through elite CIA black ops with impossible precision. "Northwest corner 2 shooters," she called. Rodriguez turned, but her shots were faster. Both targets fell before he even acquired them. "Reloading," Emily shouted. Sullivan instinctively moved to cover her flank. They maneuvered together, seamlessly, like soldiers who had trained side by side for years, needing no words to coordinate. Tyler Webb, wide-eyed, had grabbed a rifle and laid down wild, suppressive fire. It wasn't elegant, but it forced the Shadow Division to take cover. "Flashbang," Miller yelled. Emily's rifle snapped up again, intercepting the grenade midair. It detonated harmlessly above them. "How?" Miller gasped. "Practice," Emily replied, eyes already scanning for the next threat. The firefight raged for 6 relentless minutes, stretching time into eternity. Marines bled, but none fell. Shadow Division had expected an easy strike, only to find themselves trapped against Force Recon and a ghost from their darkest files. When the smoke cleared, 14 operators lay incapacitated, weapons smoldering. The rest retreated, dragging their wounded to the waiting helicopters. Rotors beat the retreat into the California sky. Inside, the Marines held their ground, chests heaving, weapons still raised. Emily finally lowered her rifle, tremors returning as adrenaline faded. "Worse now," she muttered. Slumping against the wall, she stared at the rose barrel as if it bore the weight of her life. 7 rounds left. She whispered, voice breaking. "Rob would have been proud." "Rob?" Alina Vasquez asked, crouching beside her. Emily nodded, tears threatening to fall. "Robert Carter. My brother. He built this rifle system. The rose color. It was his joke. If you're going to fight in a man's world, might as well stand out. He designed the recoil dampening, the experimental rounds. He died in Kandahar buying me time to escape. He believed technology should save lives, not take them." Rodriguez approached slowly. His voice, once dripping with mockery, now carried respect. "I owe you a tattoo and an apology." Emily managed a faint smile. "You owe me nothing. You all fought even after everything this morning. That's worth more than any bet." Around them, the Marines exchanged looks. They had mocked her, ridiculed her, doubted her, and yet, when the real test came, she had fought for them anyway. Deep down, every one of them knew this was only the beginning. The echoes of battle lingered, smoke drifted across the shattered doorway. Weapons still raised, adrenaline coursing through tired veins. Emily's hands trembled as she held the rose-colored rifle that had turned from joke to salvation in less than an hour. Rodriguez stepped forward again, humility softening his features. "I owe you something. An apology. And a tattoo." Emily shook her head, exhaustion heavy in her eyes. "You don't owe me anything. You stood with me. That's enough."
"Oh."
He pressed. "I ridiculed you in front of my Marines. You saved our lives anyway. That is honor. I'll carry the reminder." She gave him a faint smile. "Do what you feel you must. But remember fighting beside me, that's worth more than ink." As medics tended the wounded, Vasquez crouched beside Emily. "You said Rob would have been proud. Who was he?" "My brother," Emily said softly. "Robert Carter. The genius behind the system. The rose color his idea. He built it to save lives. He died ensuring I could carry forward Phantom 7's mission." The room fell silent. Marines who had laughed that morning now watched the woman who carried the grief of a lost brother, the betrayal of Phantom 7, and a weapon that symbolized both memory and purpose. Outside, armored vehicles rolled onto the range. Base security, not Black Ops this time. General Patricia Morrison, a 2-star, surveyed the scene. Unconscious operators in black, battered Force Recon Marines, and one woman with trembling hands clutching a rose-colored rifle. Colonel Hawkins saluted. "Ma'am, this is Staff Sergeant Emily Carter, Phantom Team 7. She just led us in repelling an illegal CIA operation on Marine soil." The general's brow furrowed. Phantom 7 had been declared Kia in Kandahar. Emily straightened, exhaustion forgotten, snapping to attention. "Reports of my death were fabricated, ma'am. I survived." After a long pause, Morrison returned the salute. "Welcome home, Sergeant." For the first time since Kandahar, Emily was no longer a ghost. She was a Marine again. By afternoon, Madison Brooks's live stream, cut short during the firefight, had gone viral. Clips of the impossible 6,000-meter shot spread worldwide. Veterans shared their own stories of being underestimated. Hashtags like hashtag SRO Sniper and hashtag Never Judge trending. What began as laughter at a pink rifle had transformed into nationwide respect. Veterans saluted the woman who had turned weakness into strength. Rodriguez kept his word. The next morning, he had 2 words inked across his forearm: "Never judge." Other Marines followed suit, each choosing their own mantra of humility. Madison Brooks reinvented herself, using her platform to highlight overlooked veterans. Tyler Webb sought Emily's guidance not for shooting, but for discipline, for resilience, for the courage to stand when everyone laughs. Within days, evidence exposing Marcus Bishop, the CIA handler who betrayed Phantom 7, led to his arrest. 14 others were also brought to justice. Phantom 7's honor was restored, their names publicly acknowledged. Arlington National Cemetery unveiled headstones for Emily's teammates. Robert Carter's inscription read, "Inventor friend." His legacy lived on in every impossible shot. Emily saluted until her arm ached, mourning and honoring all at once. Months later, she became an instructor in the Marine Corps Advanced Marksmanship Program. Standing before new recruits, her rose rifle gleamed under the sun. "You'll learn to shoot," she said. "But more than that, you'll learn to see. The most dangerous soldier isn't the one who looks deadly, it's the one you underestimate." Years passed. The rose rifle was enshrined in the Camp Pendleton Museum. Children laughed at its color. Veterans saluted in reverence. It wasn't just a weapon. It was a symbol of underestimated strength, resilience, and the courage to stand when the world doubts you. Emily Carter's legacy lived on not in the gun, but in the hearts of those who had once laughed and now stood beside her. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe for more veteran stories. These moments keep the legacy of courage alive for generations.